there, everyone. This is Darkside2K7, aka Son of Sky Chaser, and oh boy, this one's juicy. So basically, there has been a big old comeuppance that went down on Friday night, and also what went down that I heard on the radio. Apparently, the NBA has decided to choose China's money over the Hong Kong human rights. Now, this story has been written by Jamal Smith of the Rolling Times. The Rolling Stones. My bad, got those two mixed up. So we'll talk about this right now. First, I will read this, and I will take my takes on it. And also, this also follows the activism too. But we'll just get to that right. The NBA chooses China's money over Hong Kong's human rights. Daryl Morey is now being forced to apologize because he supports democracy. The story was written by Jamal Smith. Daryl Morey did the right thing at first. In a Friday night tweet that has since been deleted, the Houston Rockets general manager expressed support for the legions of protesters who had taken the streets of Hong Kong. The demonstrators started as a protest against the new Chinese extradition bill that opponents would believe that it would lead to disappearance of Hong Kong's critics of the Chinese regime, as well as infringing upon the limited independence of semi-autonomous region enjoys. The bill was pulled in September, which was last year, but the protesters have additional demands, including an independent inquiry on police brutality and the resignation of Hong Kong's chief executive, Carrie Lam. These are understandable fears when dealing with the communist regime like China. And the NBA has long been known as perhaps the most free-thinking, outspoken league when it comes to politics of its players. Like, for instance, just last week, the governor of California signed a controversial bill into law on a television show hosted by, of all people, LeBron James, who is arguably the league's most visible player. If you want to know what that controversial law that the governor of California, he signed the California Pay to Play Act, which means that college players will finally be able to get paid for anyone who used their endorsements. It only happens in California, but it might spread into other states if it seems reasonable. More on that, but that's another tale for another time. However, the problem for Morey is that the Chinese also love basketball. It thanks surely to the stardom of former Rockets great Yao Ming, who is the head of the Chinese Basketball Association, the CBA. Houston trail only Golden State in popularity in the nation per a recent survey. There appears to be too much money to be made in China for the NBA to stand up for human rights. Yao himself responded to Morey's tweet with condemning, called it an inappropriate comment relating to Hong Kong, and the CBA suspended its exchange and cooperation with the Houston Rockets. Chinese sportswear maker Ling Ni did the same, suspending its association with the team. The Chinese government also weighed in via a consulate, saying that it was deeply shocked by the tweets. Rockets owner Tillman Fertitta quickly disavowed Morey's tweet. Listen, at D. Morey does not speak for the at Houston Rockets. Our presence in Tokyo is all about the promotion of the at NBA internationally, and we are not a political organization at ESPN. This tweet was made by him on October 5th, 2019. The Rockets and the NBA could have stood up for Morey for decency and for the protesters and their human rights. More than 2,000 have been injured in months of demonstrations that the Chinese government characterized as riots, but selling sneakers, jerseys in the game, but they instead folded all too readily, all too eager to hold on to the dollars that they glean from a communist nation. The NBA issued a sorry statement declaring that the league realized that the tweet may have been deeply offended Chinese fans and that they have great respect for the history and culture of China, as if they had anything to do with a bill that could be used to disappear journalists and critics of an autocratic regime. Morey, who the Ringer reports was at one point in jeopardy of losing his job, tweets his own apology that read like it was dictated by his boss. Brooklyn Nets owner Joe Tsai, the co-founder of the Chinese e-commerce conglomerate Alibaba, published an open letter on Facebook that referred to protesters as a separatist movement. Even James Harden, the Houston Rockets star guard, issued a mea culpa for the reason, even though he wasn't even involved. Like, seriously, why is he even involved in the first damn place? But whatever. This last bit of rank submission to an autocratic regime captures the full extent of the NBA sellout to China. Several politicians on the left and right, including presidential candidate Julian Castro and Representative Ben Sasse, a Republican out of Missouri, called out the NBA's cowardice. Even Rockets fan Texas Senator Ted Cruz took a principled stand. We're better than this. Human rights shouldn't be for sale, and the NBA shouldn't be assisting Chinese communist censorship. Ted Cruz made this tweet on October 7, 2019. For all its MLK t-shirts and other symbolic gestures towards wokeness here in the States, this is still the league that see fit to do business with a regime that represents human rights, whether given the chance. The league even has the presence of Xinjiang, sorry if I mispronounced that, in the northwest of the country. It is the Chinese region where Slate reported last year that the nation's authorities were holding roughly 1 million Muslims, the Turkish-speaking minority called Uyghurs, in concentration camps. The NBA has a different kind of camp there, one of its 3 national training camps in Urumqi, Xinjiang capital. Again, sorry for that. We got some 2 updates on this. Both CCTV, the Chinese state-run television network, and the digital streaming rights owner Tencent announced Tuesday, which is today, that they were suspending plans to broadcast the preseason of NBA games. The decision came in the wake of Mori's tweet in support of the Hong Kong protesters, and NBA's commissioner Adam Silver's defense of Mori in an interview with Kyodo News in Tokyo, Japan. I think as a value-based organization that I want to make it clear, Silver said, that Durham Morsi supported the terms in his ability to exercise his freedom of expression. CCTV not only disagreed, but appeared to try to redefine the First Amendment for Adam Silver. We strongly dissatisfied and we oppose Silver's claim to support Mori's right of free expression. We believe that any speech that challenges national sovereignty and social stability is not within the scope of freedom of speech. CCTV said in a statement in Chinese, as translated by CNBC, which also reported that the state-run TV channel will immediately investigate all cooperations and exchanges involving the NBA. So that's all the information. That's all that information I read. If you want to know more, there's actually a link on the Rolling Stones website. But here's this is actually pretty sucky for the NBA, because I feel like what Jack Morris said, he wasn't being disrespectful. He was just showing his support for the protesters, and also the way that the NBA managed to choose money over the human rights of Hong Kong. That's so that they actually care about getting that paper from China instead of the human rights of the people of Hong Kong. And let's be real here. They're not the only company that will play defense for China. Activision Blizzard, they're facing their own kinds of controversy as well. When they banned prominent Hearthstone pro player Buzz Chang, I think I got his name right. If I didn't, I apologize to him for actually showing his support to Hong Kong. As a result, he was stripped of the championship. He lost all his prize money, and he was banned from playing in pro tournaments for 1 year. all because he showed his support for human rights in Hong Kong. And honestly, that's kind of in my honest opinion, that's kind of fucked up on both the NBA's part and Activision's part. Like this, this is actually messed up because I feel like Activision they're more concerned about getting money from China instead of worrying about human rights. And also this also exposed a lot of controversy over people who all these people are these athletes who claim to be SJWs. They always want to claim about human rights and everything thing that only happens in our country, but when when it's happened to a country like in China, they just be quiet and everything. Yeah, they always scream about standing up for against fascism when but when it's but when a country like China is threatening their pockets, they sing a really different tune. And honestly, I'm surprised that, and I'm happy to see that many people are coming out and saying this. But as for the NBA, well, I don't know what. Seriously though, I don't know what kind of dirt China's got on both the NBA and Activision Blizzard. But whatever it is, it's something that they try to make sure that these two companies are trying to do to make sure that they were trying to do to make sure that they don't want to get on their bad side. And same with 2K. I mean, no surprise, 2K is trying to make sure that they don't have anyone to say anything bad for China, because they're part of the Tencent esports series for their 2K series. I doubt if anybody want to play that broken ass game known as NBA 2K20. I mean, hell, I just bought NBA 2K14 for $2.99, and it's still way more playable than it is. I mean, yeah, I know that's a stretch, so So, and then also at the Marriott is also is placed on fire when they fired their staff when they talk bad about China. It seems like anybody who talks bad about China, they risk of losing their jobs and everything. And honestly, I was like, well, that's fucked up because it's like people have a freedom of speech. Like I said, if I want to talk bad about everything, it's all I can talk bad with. I would talk bad about anything. Consequences be damn. And I'm actually pissed off about it because because here's the thing, we got SJWs and everybody who's leaning on the goddamn, who's leaning so political, who can bash President Donald Trump and our government with no problem whatsoever, with no rhyme or reason, with no kind of consequences, because that's their freedom of speech, and I get that. But God forbid if you say something bad about China. And honestly, I'm afraid of this whole extraction bill, because what if this were happen? Let's be real. What if this would happen if it comes to us in the States? That means that anybody who's criticizing to anyone who's politically correct, they could be disappeared just like that. Now that's a scary thought that we all should be worried about. But like I said, the NBA and the Activision and all these other companies who still getting China's money, y'all know better than the Hollywood hacks and the liberal celebs who keeps on acting like, oh, we want to be better than everybody else and all that shit. But that's just my honest opinion. But I really would like to hear from what y'all think. Okay. So, as always, be sure to leave a comment, like this video, do all that good stuff. So, until next time, this is Darkside2K7, aka Sonic Sky Chaser, signing off. See y'all later.
Yo, man, nobody can touch you an eyeball. I take all you mutants out. That's right.